When I was president of the Women's Forum of New York in 2011, we launched the first biennial Breakfast of Corporate Champions at the New York Stock Exchange. We built it and they came. 300 CEOs, directors, executives, and thought leaders to honor those S&P 500 and Fortune 1000 companies with 20% or more women on their boards.
This event really does recognize and celebrate how change happens. It happens when you convene company and board decision makers to talk about how to get to gender parity. It happens when you honor those leading the way. And it happens when you continue to raise the bar.
I think the best way to advocate for gender parity comes from the top of an organization. It has to be the chairman and CEO who set the tone above all else that this is a critical business issue. It's a business imperative, not just the right thing to do.
More women at the table means more diverse and inclusive thinking, which leads to more comprehensive decision-making, the avoidance of groupthink, and ultimately better business outcomes.
You've got to help people understand their own mental maps under which they are systematically undervaluing what these women can do in the boardroom. And although it's a discussion for another day, there are only 3 African American CEOs in the Fortune 500.
Where there is diversity around the table, it creates a culture where people go into it expecting that they can learn, knowing that they have to listen, knowing that they don't have all the answers and that their perspective isn't the only perspective.
We ask CEOs to sponsor board-ready women who we put in the Women's Forum database and export to the Equilar data set.
The Women's Forum of New York is dedicated to the advancement of women's leadership through our corporate board initiative, programming, and education fund. Our partnership with Equilar allows us to build a strong network of board-ready women. We have over 200 Women's Forum members listed on their database, and since 2017, 20% of them have been placed on a board. This high level of engagement takes us one step closer to parity every day.
We should keep the bigger picture in mind, the picture that goes beyond women in leadership positions and on corporate boards today. We have to keep a focus on the next generation of women in the workplace, and by extension, that next generation of women leaders.
This conversation that we've been having for a long time has now moved from something that's been a little bit off to the side to being front and center in the thinking of business leaders, journalists, and shareholders. And I think that's a sign of great success.
Since 2011, we have had over 100 CEOs and directors speak out at the Breakfast of Corporate Champions on the business imperative for gender parity and how to make it happen. This has been a decade of driving change, and the Women's Forum of New York is proud of the impact we have had by convening powerful leaders, honoring the game changers who are leading the way, and inspiring action in others.
Please welcome the Managing Director, CAO of Citi Global Public Affairs and the President of the Women's Forum of New York, Joan Haffenreffer.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to officially welcome all of you to the Women's Forum of New York Breakfast of Corporate Champions. I'm so delighted to have everyone here in person and want to give a special warm welcome to those of you who are joining us virtually. The Women's Forum of New York is an organization of women leaders from all professional areas, both private and professional, of New York City. And our membership of 500 executive women represents the highest levels of leadership and achievement. We're dedicated to the advancement of women leadership through programs that enrich our members both personally and professionally. So 2 of these important programs that we have are our Education Fund and our Corporate Board Initiative. Our Education Fund enables women who face significant adversity, age 35 years and older, to resume their education and rebuild their lives. Our Corporate Board Initiative creates opportunities for women leadership while accelerating gender balance on corporate boards. The Women's Forum of New York is the founding forum of the International Women's Forum, a network of over 7,500 women leaders in 74 forums in 33 countries. So today is an opportunity to celebrate. Celebrate all the progress that we've made since we started the Breakfast of Corporate Champions in 2011. This year, we have the pleasure of honoring 243 S&P 500 and F1000 companies who exceed the national average of board seats held by women. So you're going to hear from a wide array of different speakers who are going to discuss the importance of board diversity. So I'd like to give a very special thanks to our Breakfast of Corporate Champions founder, Janice Ellig. Janice is the CEO of the Ellig Group and chair of the breakfast, along with her co-chair, Carolyn Carter. Carolyn is the former CEO of Gray Group EMEA, and both of them are past presidents of the Women's Forum of New York. Carolyn currently serves as the vice president of the International Women's Forum. I'd also like to recognize our honorary co-chairs, Maggie Wilderotter, who's the chairman and CEO of Grand Reserve Inn, and Ken Frazier, who is the executive chairman of the board at Merck & Company. And now we'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, including our marquee, Accenture, Bank of America, Citi, Ellig Group, and Jefferies, as well as our diamond and platinum sponsors, our gold, silver, bronze sponsors. So thank you so much. And to our speakers, our moderators, and our introducers who are going to make this breakfast so memorable. So we encourage all of you to share your thoughts of today's event using any of the social tags on the screen. It's going to be a great morning. So now please join me in welcoming the event's founding chair, Janice Ellig, and her co-chair, Carolyn Carter.